Hello students, today we are going to talk about peripherals. Okay, so what is peripherals? I'm sure that you are already familiar with this term, that a computer peripheral is any external device that provides input and output for the computer. For example, a keyboard and a mouse are input peripherals, while a monitor and printer are output peripherals. Computer peripherals or peripheral devices are sometimes called I/O devices because they provide input and output for the computer. Some peripherals, such as external hard drives, provide both input and output for the computer. For example, we have in this picture, in number 1, let's identify the peripherals in this computer application. So divide them into input and output devices. Well, take a look at this picture. So here we see a cash register, and we see the barcode, and we can see the scanner there. So just imagine which one is the input devices, and what about the other one, the output devices. Okay, now what about if we could do the next part? Here, just link the inputs on the left and the outputs in the right with the appropriate peripherals in the center. You see the pictures in the input side, you see the pictures as well in the output side, and in the middle part, the peripherals. For example, we see the one in input part, a person who is speaking in front of the public, and as the peripherals, he needs the microphone. And what about the output? The output is his voice that comes from the speaker. So you can see the picture of speaker there. So what about for the next? I'm sure you can find it out by your own. Okay, we've come to the next part, talking about the peripherals. One of the example of this is the camera. You see that here is the digital camera that we can take the pictures anytime, and we can see the result instantly. Digital cameras store images on memory cards so pictures can be transferred easily to a computer. A lens focuses the image onto a CCD unit or charge coupled device where the film would normally be. So you can aim the camera accurately. There is an optical viewfinder. So you can play back the images and decide which to keep and which to reshoot. The image is passed to a small LCD screen on the back of the camera. Okay, when you see there the digital camera, so you can imagine what about the input device and what about the output device, as the camera is the peripherals. Okay, don't take it too long because we can see the idea on how to state the digital and also the conventional camera. Okay, let's just study the comparison of digital and conventional cameras. We can see from the feature, lens, viewfinder, requires chemical processing, film, and then transfer images directly to PC, and can delete unsatisfactory images. So let's see how we can compare and contrast these types of cameras. The first and second part, we can see that they are similar. That digital and conventional cameras have similar idea on lens and viewfinder. Let's just compare. Compare is telling about the similarities of two things. Talking about digital and conventional camera in number one, let's see. Both cameras have lenses. Number two, like the conventional camera, the digital camera has a viewfinder. Now you can see that in the third feature up to the sixth feature, they've got differences. So we contrast the features which are different there. Number three, talking about the chemical processing. The conventional camera requires chemical processing, whereas the digital camera does not. Number four, talking about film. The conventional camera uses film unlike the digital camera. Number five, with a digital camera, you can transfer images directly to a PC, but with a conventional camera, you need to use a scanner. And the last contrast as the example there, with digital cameras, you can delete unsatisfactory images. However, with conventional cameras, you cannot. Here we see how we compare two similarities and contrast two differences. Let's find out for the next one. So you can see there that we can compare two things by using both and like. Another example for contrasting features, we can use whereas, unlike, but, and also however. For example, we can see here the printer types. Why don't we try to compare between those types of printer? For example, we see how inkjet and laser printer similar in speed. Both inkjet and laser printer have medium to fast speed. Or another idea, dot matrix and inkjet. The dot matrix printer has fair to good text quality, whereas inkjet printer has good to excellent text quality. So now you can do it by your own as the example given. Okay, so let's see this part. In number 9, we have the idea, the list of needs. So we have 12 cases here, and your job is just get the idea which type of peripheral would you advise in each case. You see 12 case, and for each case it has its own idea. Number 1, inputting printed graphics. So when you input the printed graphics, what peripherals would you advise? Or, for example, second one, or even the third, up to the 12. For example, we have in number 10, recording sound. So when you want to record your sound, what peripheral would you advise? For example, you use the MP3 recorder, voice recorder, or you use another idea, another device, another peripheral that you can use. And what about the output device? What about the result? Perhaps you can have the different ideas on the peripherals, and you can compare or even contrast the output device, the result. Okay, this is the end of the video on peripherals. For the next activity, you can listen to your lecturer's information and explanation, or you can check your Google Classroom. Thank you.